Okay, last year before Rosh Hashanah. And so I want to just give you a couple of things that you can think about. We have a lot of numbers today, one of those numbers days. But first, to start out, if you look at the Torah on Parashat Nitzavim, maybe it's in the Chumash, I'm not sure. You have that one pasuk that has all those dots on it, and you have the pasuk with the big lamed, right? Vayashlichem,
the big lamed.
yeah. So yeah, you've got probably for Chumash if you don't mind. And so, what is it talking about? This paragraph with all this, and I'll explain to you what this is. There's a lot of action on this pasuk, and I promised Yariv that we'd talk about it a little bit. And so, and I gave Moshe already one shot that I'll say here again. It says in the pasuk, we're talking about if we falter and we sin. A person says, Shalom Yeli, I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm all right. Hashem's not going to forgive him. Hashem will be very angry at this person. And God forbid, the curses will come to him. And Hashem will erase his name, God forbid. Hashem will knock him out. The later generation will come and say, who are these people? The later generation. Your children that will come after you, and the foreigner, that come from a distant land. What are they going to see? What are they going to say? They're going to see the land of Israel getting smashed. Just like Sodom and Amorah, God forbid, if we don't listen, the land of Israel is not a right. The land of Israel is a privilege. If we don't follow the rules, we lose it, God forbid. And so the people are going to come, they're going to see, God forbid, if we don't follow suit to the Torah, Hashem destroys us and gets rid of the land of Israel from us, God forbid. And the goyim are going to say, the non-Jews, the nations are going to say, why did Hashem do this? Why is he doing this to this land? A lot of people right now are asking, all around the world, what is going on in this little land of Israel? Why is there so much war in one little land? Mehori, what kind of wrath? What kind of anger? Right? Hori means anger. The word is nostrils, right? Because when you're angry, your nostrils flare. Ha'af hagadol hazel, this great anger. Af means anger. Ve'amiru, and they will say, Allah shir azibu. You know why? Because these people forsake and left the Torah. Allah shir azibu. The Jews are not following the Bible. The Jews don't follow the Bible. They're out. And they went and they worshipped idols. And Hashem got angry. And Hashem got angry at the land and brought curses to it. And Hashem removed them from their land. Be'af uvhema, with anger and wrath. Uvkesef gadol, and great fury. Vayashlichem, and he threw them. He cast them away. Into another land. He threw them to another, not in Israel, other lands. Now, Vayashlichem, and he threw them. The lamed is very big in this word. And then we have the next pasuk. Hanistarot, the hidden. Rashi says, Gemara says, the hidden sins is what we're talking about. What's hidden? Sins that we do in private. Hanistarot, Ladona Elohenu. Hashem sees every hidden sin. And the revealed sins, the ones that are open, they're ours. To do the Torah. And this is what the Gemara says as she quotes it. This is where we officially became obliged to watch out for each other and be responsible for everything each other does. Before this, there was no din arevut in Klal Yisrael. Yeah, but worse than oy. You're responsible. The neighbor is responsible. And so this started now. In the desert, there was no din arevut, says the Gemara.
When getting to Eretz Yisrael becomes the trigger.
That's it. getting the land of Israel, once you get into the land of Israel, everyone is responsible for everybody else. Before you're in the land of Israel, if somebody did something, that's their problem. It's not your problem. Now we have a din arevut. And so now there's dots on these words. Hanistarot, the hidden sins, Ladonai Eloheinu, are for Hashem sees the hidden sins. V'haneglot, and the revealed sins, Lanu ulbanenu, are for us and for our children. There's dots on every one of those letters. Now there's the general rule that the rabbis write, and that whenever you have dots in a pasuk, the dot really means to tell you, you can kind of take this letter away and read the remaining letters. That's usually the way it works with dots. Hashem is trying to tell you, the tradition is trying to tell you, read the word without the letter of the dots. So if you do that, how would it make any sense?
You can't pronounce the word.
How would you do it? Because the entire two words are full of dots. Hanistarot Hashem Elokeinu. Okay, so the hidden sins are for Hashem. V'haneglot, and the revealed ones, now the next two words have dots, for us and for our children. So if you take those out, you just have the words Ad Olam, forever, and the revealed ones are forever. What does that even mean?
Perhaps to tell you that when you look at the dots, you were trained to think that you shouldn't pronounce the word, which is equal to nista. It's there, but you don't pronounce it, so it's nista. And it tells you, and this time it's niglot. It's all to you. It's revealed to you.
That's very nice. That's very nice. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, and the commentaries explain it. How many letters have dots? Lanu ulbanenu, for us and for our children. Lanu is 3, 11 total. You know this one already? You know the pshat? Oh, you're really counting it.
I don't know what you are going to say. I know something. I don't know what.
So the Gemara says, and the commentaries, like I said, explain, these 11 letters are really not supposed to be the letters where have the dots. This is the only time in the Torah the dots are actually on the wrong letters. Where should the dots really be? On the words Hanistarot Ladonai Eloheinu, on Hashem's names. That's where that's 11. Instead of putting it on those 11 letters, it puts it out on us, because how could you take away Hashem's letters? It's not nice to take away Hashem's letters. But really the letters belong on Lamonai Elokeinu. How would you read the pasuk if you took out those words, Lamonai Elokeinu, that the dots are really supposed to be on him? Hanistarot, the hidden ones, V'haneglot, and the revealed ones, Lanu Olbanenu, is all on us. If you take away Hashem's names, which means everything your friend does is on you. That's the Gemara's reason why Lanu Olbanenu has the 11 dots. It's really supposed to be on Hashem's letters. Now the Lamed, the big Lamed, Vayashlichem, and he cast you, and he threw you. The Lamed is very big. Why? Moshe asked me this question. I told him on Thursday also. And so the Hidah says, Hashem casts you away and throws you out of Israel. What led you to this? What did you do wrong that you lost the land of Israel? And you caused all this af and hema, all this anger? You didn't have a lamed. Lamed is limud ha-Torah. Lamed means to learn. That's why the letter lamed is spelled lamed. Lamed mem dalet. Learn Torah. Lamdisha. And so when you don't learn Torah, so if you take the lamed and make it bold and you take it out, you don't learn Torah, you get thrown out of the land. Says the Ben Ish Hai, if you take the lamed out of the word, vayashlichem, you're left with vayashechem. That also means bite. They bite you. Who bites you? It's the same gematria of the remaining letters, vayashechem. Without the lamed, it's the same gematria of Esav. It's not Ishmael. Them too, they bite. But this one, Esav, says the Ben Ish Hai. Now, I'll take it a step further. The Ben Ish Hai says as follows. Hashem created the world using the Aleph Bet. It works? Don't be that old man and that says you're right. Hashem created the world using the Aleph Bet. Says the Ben Ish Hai, how do you spell the word Aleph? Aleph Lamed Peh. Says the Ben Ish Hai, really Hashem tried to create the world with the Af Bet. not aleph bet. Af bet. Af is anger, din, judgment. He wanted to create the world really to see if it can last on strict judgment. And it did not last. We couldn't last. He saw the world would never last for strict judgment. So he takes the original letter af and he inserts a lamed inside of it and he makes it aleph.
Lamed for limud.
Lamed for limud Torah. And so the lamed, the world really was, it was really not the alphabet, it was the alphabet. Alphabet. Maybe this explains why, another reason why Bereshit starts with bet and not with the aleph. Because the original letter is not even the exact letter. I couldn't use the af. I wanted to use the af. I had to take the af and add a lamed to soften the e's and make it aleph. So we're going to start with bet. Yeah?
The aleph is arur.
Aleph is arur. Aleph is Allah. Aleph is anger, judgment, strict. We had to insert the lamed. We keep the Torah we keep the world afloat as long as we have the lamed of limud. We take away the lamed of limud Torah, you have a chance to revert the word and the letter back to af. And then it becomes anger. It's a condition the Torah, the world is created on. You keep the Torah, it's an aleph. You don't keep the Torah, it's af. That's why when I read you this Pesukim, what are the goyim asking? Ve'ameru hagoyim. The Hador Haron, the later generations will come and they're going to say, why is Hashem doing this? Mehori. What kind of anger? Ha'af hagadol hazeh. This af. Where did this af come from? It's supposed to be aleph. What happened? And the answer is Vayashlichem is the answer. They didn't have the lamed. And so they didn't have the lamed, it goes back to af. And that's why if you read the pasuk one more time, Vayiteshem Adonai me'al admatam, Hashem tossed them from their land, be'af uvhema uvkesef gadol, with the af, Vayashlichem, and he threw them away. You need the lamed of the new Torah. If we don't have the Torah, everything, no deal. The deal is off without the limud of Torah. The Gemara Baba Metzia says a very, very well-known story that I think we've said a bunch of times, not only in this class, in multiple shiurim in the Beit Knesset. I'm not going to go into the whole story. It's the famous story of the mahloket between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yehoshua with the argument, and he was the yahid. He was the singular opinion, and the rabbis were the majority opinion, and he said, the halakha is like me. And the rabbi says, we have a rule, it follows the majority. And he said, if the halakha is like me, the carob tree should move, and the carob tree moved. The water should flow uphill instead of downhill. The water turned around and flew uphill and flew uphill. The walls of the Beit Midrash should come in. The walls started caving in, and they didn't care about his miracles. What did they say? Lo b'shamayim hi. That's a pasuk in this parasha. Lo b'shamayim hi. The Torah is not upstairs. The Torah is here, down here, and it's ours. There you go. Afterwards, they found Eliyahu Navi, and they asked Eliyahu Navi when this mahloket was happening, and the walls were caving in, and all the miracles were happening, and they still said, we don't care about your miracles. What was Hashem doing? And he asked, Hashem was saying, Nitzhoni banai nitzhoni. You have defeated me, my sons. You have defeated me. That's how you translate typically this Gemara. You defeated me. I tried to prove with miracles and voices from heaven that the halakha is like Rabbi Eliezer, but you don't listen to me anyway, because you said the Torah belongs to you and I gave it to you, and the halakha is like you. Nitzhoni banai nitzhoni. Hashem was laughing, saying, you beat me, guys. You beat me. I believe the Vilna Gaon says, Nitzhoni banai doesn't mean you beat me. It doesn't mean my sons defeated me. Netzach means forever. Hashem was laughing and Hashem was saying, Nitzhoni banai, my children, you will live forever. Nitzhoni, you will live forever. How do I know you will live forever? You will never be destroyed? Because you hold so strong, the Torah belongs to you. Lo b'shamayim. Now I see, even with miracles, nothing can shake you from your Torah. Now I know for sure, Nitzhoni bana, you guys are going to last forever. Isn't that a beautiful shot on those words? Not you defeated me. You're for netzach, you're forever. We see the Torah, learning the Torah, is what we need to focus on in order to make sure we stick around, especially on our land. There's a very well-known Gemara on Yomah that we were talking about in our Wednesday night men's shiur. The Mishnah in Yomah with the famous words of Rabbi Akiva, Ashrechem Yisrael, how fortunate are you, Yisrael? Who is purifying you, and who are you going to become pure in front of? Avichem Sheba Shamayim, your Father in heaven. As it says, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Hashem is a mikveh for Bnei Yisrael. Hashem is like a mikveh for us. He purifies us. This is what Rabbi Akiva said. The Sefer Bnei Yissaschar over here, it's a Hasidic Sefer. It's from my house because we don't have it here in the shul. He says a very interesting thing. Part of it is very well known and used, but some of it is not. He says as follows. This is the part that I think everyone knows already. It's all from the Bnei Yissaschar. Says the Bnei Yissaschar. First of all, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Hashem is a mikveh for us. The part that everyone should know already is a mikveh has to be 40 se'ah. That's the measurement of a mikveh. 40 se'ah. And how many lugin? How many lug? I guess you can say like gallons and liters.
24.
Right? There's 24 per se'ah. There's 24 lug per se'ah. So the total amount of lugin in a mikveh is 960. And says the Bnei Yissaschar, 960 is exactly the amount of hours in the 40 days of Selichot. 40 times 24 is 960. And so for the 40 days of Selichot, it's literally a mikveh. You jump in a mikveh, you jump into the water. In the times of Selichot, the 40 days we have, you jump into the days, into the time, and you just become completely enwrapped in it, and you become purified. This is the Bnei Yissaschar. Now the truth is, he's not the first one to say this. He gets a lot of credit. He was a great rabbi. But the Hida in his Sefer Penei David, he actually quotes Rabbi Gramazian, is a rabbi he quotes a lot, the Hida. Rabbi Gramazian actually said, Moshe Rabbeinu, when he went up to Shamayim to get the Torah, it was 40 days and 40 nights. Why 40 days and 40 nights? Why do you have to tell us that anyway? Or just say 40 days. What do we care 40 days and 40 nights? Says the Hida, because Moshe Rabbeinu completely, every second, was with Hashem. Every minute. Lechem lo'achal mayim lo'shata. No water, no food. What is the point? Because for 40 days times 24 hours, which is 960, he was completely enveloped within Hashem in Shamayim. 960 is a very special number. 960 is the amount of a mikveh. It's what purifies someone. Says the Bnei Yissaschar here as well. If you look at the word Tishrei, Tishrei is spelled Taf, Shin, Resh, Yud. Let's get some gematria.
910.
910. There's a Mesorah, when you want to add gematria for Nikudot, every dot is 10. Tishrei has a chirik, one dot on the taf,
So plus
2 on the shin, 2 on the resh.
so 5.
That's 960 total. Tishrei is also 960. And so once you jump into the 40 days of Selichot, after that you go into Tishrei, which is the next 960. The new month is 960, which is also the Tishrei, the numerical value of Tishrei. Now besides for the 960, we said a mikveh is 40 se'ah. 40 se'ah is also the 40 days. The 40 days, right? It's exactly to the mikveh. The mikveh is 40 se'ah, each se'ah is 24. The 40 days of Selichot, each day is 24. It's an exact match. But a lot of things is 40. There are 40 days until a fetus is created fully. Not fully, or whatever, it takes form, according to the Gemara. There are the Bnei Israel, they got punished for the spies so strongly. Why? Because for 40 days, they were planning a bad plan. Who cares? Why 40 days? What if it was 39 days? Because when you do something for 40 days, you completely throw yourself in it. You're mivatel into that segment of 40. And so for the good and for the bad. Just like when we have 40 days of we become a new person, just so too, when someone spends 40 days talking bad about the land of Israel, they completely became bad people. They went from the good, they were great people, all the way to the bad.
I think also 40 is mem, and mem is exactly the middle letter of the aleph bet. That's why
They talk about 40
That's why
days.
when we say emet, it is the aleph,
Yeah.
which is the beginning, mem exactly the middle, and taf the end.
Very good.
So,
Also, the word mikveh, you look at the word mikveh. This is, I didn't read this anywhere, this is my own thought. The word mikveh, what's the shortest of mikveh? Kaveh.
ikavu online.
Also, ikavu, collection. Also, kaveh, hope. Yearn. It's going to be okay. Kaveh el Hashem hazak. It's going to be okay once you get in there. And also, the Mabul. The flood was for 40 days as well. Why? It's the great reset. You need something that, if something happens for 40 complete days, it's an absolute reset for good or for bad. So the flood also had to be 40 days.
So Mabul is the connection with the Torah, right?
Yeah.
First letter, the Bet. Last letter, Lamed.
Lamed.
And the middle letter is Vav.
Is Vav in the middle, and the 40 would be the 40. The mem is the 40. Very nice. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. The Mavul is the great reset, just like a mikveh. When we see from here the power, we go into the waters of a mikveh. A woman goes into the mikveh and immerses herself into a mikveh of 40 se'ah. It's an unbelievable transformation. You're completely inside the 40/960. The Shem Shmuel says, and even the Bnei Yissaschar hints to it over here, he takes it even a step further. He says, when you go into a mikveh, when you jump into a mikveh of water, into the 40 se'ah of water, you're going into an element that human beings cannot live in. We can't survive in the water. We have to hold our breath. And there's only a certain amount of time we can do that for. It's almost like committing suicide in a way. It's almost like killing yourself. Says the Shem Shmuel in the name of the Abi Nezer. When you jump into a water, into a pool of 40 se'ah, you're saying, I cannot survive. I'm willingly jumping into a body of water, an element that I cannot live in. Why? Because when I come out and I have my life again and I take my breath, I killed the old person. I'm a new person now. The old guy's dead. The old person drowned in the mikveh, and a new one comes out. It's almost like a spiritual suicide in a way, like a helpful one in a way. Unbelievable. The Bnei Yissaschar says, Arba'im Shana, same thing. It's the
whole Ador Yashan.
Yeah, the 40/960 is a complete reset of who you are. Like when you want to brainwash, you want to be a new program, reprogrammed. That's how long it takes. Says the Bnei Yissaschar, there are 4 main elements in everything in this world, and each of the 4 elements is made of the 4 elements, which is a 16 total. 960, says the Bnei Yissaschar, plus the 4 elements would be 964. The 4 elements that we're made of. So what are you? You were made of 4. Also in the Nefesh, Ruach, Shaman, Yahida, also in the spiritual realm, you're made of 4, and there's 4 directions, and this 4 is a heavy number. You have your 960, so 960 is your complete everything that you are, and you add the 4 elements gives you 964. If you take the word shofar, and you spell the word shofar, spell it out, shin, spell it, vav, Peh, spell it. Resh, spell it. It equals exactly 964. 964 is the bitul, it's the reprogramming of who you are, plus the 4 elements that comprises you. When we blow the shofar, shin, yod, nun, that's added. 360. Peh and aleph. Yeah. Spell the letters. Spell the letters.
You do the gematria of the letters.
It equals 964. There's a pasuk that we read when we blow the shofar. And the pasuk says, Chitkoa shofar tishma'u. It's in Isaiah chapter 18. When they blow the shofar, like blowing the shofar, they will listen. Blowing the shofar, everyone pays attention. Isaiah chapter 18. Chitkoa shofar tishma'u, says B'nai Yisachar, when you blow the shofar, and that's the gematria 964, you get to an element of the highest prayer and the highest kavanah we have, which is the gematria of Shema Yisrael Echad. Listen, Yisrael, there's only one. Shema Yisrael Echad is exactly 964 as well. That's why the pasuk says, Chitkoa shofar tishma'u. Now he quotes the Gemara Yerushalmi. The Gemara Yerushalmi says there's something called batel b'shishim. When you have something that's not good, or not kosher, or if you're having you're making a meat chicken soup, you don't want milk in there, right? So the milk is bad in this situation, and it falls in the soup. The damage is done. How do you fix it? How do you make sure that no matter, even if there's bad, it doesn't count? It's called batel b'shishim. As long as it's outnumbered by 60, the Torah looks at it like it's not there.
Times 60.
Yeah. Right? So too, maybe we had something in our past year, or maybe we feel maybe we're not good enough. And so I want to say to Hashem, before Elul, before Elul, before Rosh Hashanah, I want to be mevatel myself and make myself batel b'shishim, outnumber myself with 60 parts of good from my bad. How can I be mevatel myself? So the Gemara, and we know the halacha is with food, it comes to batel b'shishim, 1 in 60. But there's a Gemara Yerushalmi that says, then there's a halacha that if you can see the thing that fell on the soup, if you can see the not kosher thing, it's be'ayin or it's a biri'ah, it's a complete being, batel b'shishim doesn't work. Batel b'shishim only works if you spilled the milk in the chicken soup and it's mixed and it's gone. You don't see it, you can't taste it, it's gone. And so if it's gone and it's outnumbered, we look at it like it's gone also. But if a mouse falls into your chicken soup, a dead man dies, and the mouse stays in the chicken soup, there could be 1,000 times the size of the mouse of chicken soup. It's not patel. Why? It's right there. As long as you can see something and it's be'ayin, and especially if it's a biriyah, if it's an actual whole creature, it's not patel b'shishim. Another example. You want to make a smoothie. My daughter loves to make smoothies. You want to make a strawberry smoothie, blackberry, raspberry smoothie. Maybe there's bugs in the berries. And so I personally don't eat raspberries, blackberries. It's just too much of a pain to check them for bugs. And so if you have a shi'ur of bug, it's a big sin to have a bug. If you eat a bug, it's a big sin. If you have body parts of a bug, not to get too gross, if you have body parts of a bug that are not connected to one being, it's not one being, it's just parts, batel b'shishim would work. Therefore, my daughter asked me, why do you buy raspberry yogurt if you don't eat raspberries? Because the answer is, once the bug is smashed to smithereens, it's not one body, it's batel b'shishim. But if I add a raspberry with an entire bug on it, that's not batel with anything. You cannot have a whole bidiyah, a whole creature, one whole creature. Okay? So batel b'shishim works as long as it's not one bidiyah. We good so far? Besides for the fact, with the yogurt, you don't even need batel b'shishim. You can have a little bit of yogurt, even if there's like a little bug leg in there, let's say, in a little spoonful of yogurt, and it's not 60 times the amount, it's fine because you have to have a shi'ud, you have to have a kazayit of bug parts in order to be oved, the avon. If you eat one whole ant, or if you have a romaine lettuce that's not checked and there's one bug on it, even if it's less than a shi'ud kazayit, it's not 28 grams, it's still asur, because you ate a whole creature. But once you have parts of something, it has to have a shi'ud. And no one's having 28 grams. I hope you don't have 28 grams of bugs. It's a lot of bugs. Says the Gemara Yerushalmi, what if I have a whole creature, a whole bidiyah, a whole bug, and I saw it go right into the soup, a whole bug, or a whole bird, or a whole fish that's not kosher. In the Gemara in Yerushalayim, it's talking about fish. A not kosher fish, I'm pickling fish, and a not kosher fish is in the jar. So the Gemara wants to say, there's one opinion that says, there would be batel ben 960 for a bidiyah. Not shishim, 960, because this is a very big boo-boo. For the big boo-boo, you need 960. Where does it get the number 960 from? And I'm going to read you the Tur. Says the Tur says, when it comes to eating bugs and stuff, Kol davar shehu beriyah, anything that's one creature. Kego nemela, like an ant, or off, or a bird. Gidan Hashem, the sciatic nerve, etc. Eno batel le'olam. There is no bitul. You can't say, it's nullified. It's okay. Yeah, but a crow flew into your chicken. Yeah, but I made like 7,000 chickens. There's a crow in there. You're out. There's a whole creature in there. Says the Tur, Yesh Omrim, some people say, the beriyah, that a creature, batla is batel betesha me'ot v'shishim, in 960. V'lo nehira, and I don't agree, la'aduni avi Rosh. My father, the Rosh, said he doesn't agree with this. Some people say, why 960? What about 959? Why 960? Because 960 is how you completely and utterly absolve something and make this thing a brand new thing. This is the power of the 40 days times the 24. You can be a complete crow, according to this opinion, which is not halakha l'ma'aseh. According to this opinion, you could be the worst of the worst. You're not even a body part that's bad. You're completely and disgustingly terrible and not kosher. The whole creature. You're in the 40 days times 24. That's 960, baby. 960. Anything is mevatel in 960.
But you have to take some action.
Not,
it's not enough.
you're saying teshuvah?
Yeah.
Obviously. You have to learn Torah. Now, just for the record, I'll go to Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says, halakha l'ma'aseh, beriyah afilu be'elef lo batil. Even 1,000. 960 is very close, is not mevatel. Beriyah, says the Shulchan Aruch, kegon nemela, like an ant, for example, is not mevatel. I don't care how many you put. And so this is halakha l'ma'aseh. But there is the opinion of 960.
It's interesting. It says 1,000, which is 960, 40.
Very good. Very good. There's the 40. Were you thinking that? Huh?
Shishim for us works only during the year, but on Passover we don't hold by it.
But
and everything that we can peel off the vegetables.
yeah, that's true. But Batel b'shishim does not work on Pesach. You're right. Batel b'shishim also doesn't work all year round on purpose too. Batel b'shishim is only an accidental halakha. You can't say, the recipe calls for some butter. I'll make sure to pour less than 60 parts butter. No, you can't do Batel b'shishim on purpose. It's only an accidental halakha. And so says the Bnei Yisachar, you see, even some people want to say, even a completely not kosher creature, beriyah, is batel in 960. Kavahom in us, a person that's 960, jump into the month of Elul, jump into the days of Silichot.
Sorry, question.
Yeah.
So how do you understand 960 of, let's say, the crow in the soup kind of thing? How do you understand this?
Why would those people hold that?
No, just how do you understand the 960, like, that's not 960th of 9?
There's 960 parts. No, there's 960 parts countering that bad part. It's mivatel be 960, which means it's 1/960th of the whole dish. That makes sense? But that's not halakha l'ma'aseh. Halakha l'ma'aseh is, it could be even 1,000. I'm sorry, you're out. But there are opinions that hold this. Rabbi Noshem Shon 960. Why? It's this logic. You can see anybody can change if you put him in something big enough and long enough. Okay, just to wrap up, the Hida writes in the Penei David on Parashat Pekudeh. The Hida writes we have a concept, like I told you, he writes, Moshe Rabbeinu went up for 40 days and 40 nights, which is 960. And the Jews were in the desert for 40 years. And we see that there is a concept of bitul when it comes to 960, which means you become, the bad parts of you go away. Says the Hida. Really the best way we can do bitul these days, you want to do bitul these days? You want to jump into something that's kosher? You jump into Torah learning, Torah study. Says the Hida, what type of Torah study, especially for the men? Shas. Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. The Mishnayot. Why? Mishnah is the same otiyot letters as neshama. You jump into a mikveh and you come out a brand new person. According to the Shem Shmuel, you killed the old person. You jump into a Mishnah, you get a brand new neshama. Listen to this beautiful Hida. When you open a Gemara, it has a section where it says Mishnah's words and then where it says the Gemara's words. What does it say when it brings a new Mishnah? What is the word? No, that's a biraita. When it brings a new Mishnah, it says matnitin. We taught, we learned. Says Ibn Ishai, what's the gematria of matnitin? 960.
Oh, very nice.
The Hida says. A Mishnah is 960. Before we learn this Mishnah, we're letting you know if you jump in the Mishnah, you're going to be kosher. Matnitin is 960. Says Max, what does the word matnitin mean? Met. We're killing ourselves. Matnitin, we're killing it. Just like the mikvah. You jump into the mikvah like you're dead, says the Shem Shmuel. Same thing with the Mishnah. Matnitin, we're dead. We're killing ourselves. And we're coming out a brand new person after this Mishnah. When we finish this Mishnah, I'm not the same guy I was before the Mishnah. I'm a completely different guy, says the Hida. And besides for the fact, there are 60 Mesechtot. There are 60 Mesechtot in the Mishnayot, and that's Batel B'Shishim also. There are 60 Mesechtot. And so we see from here, maybe there are parts of us, or a whole parts of us, that we don't like, and we want to try to get rid of. I don't even vatel it. I want to outnumber it and outweigh it with the good. So what do? We can jump into the time that we're in. Literally jump into the days that we're in. The 40 days of Selichot. Participate. Jump into the days. 40 times 24 is 960. We can jump into actual Torah study. You jump in the Torah study, and it's a mikveh itself, and it's also the lamed that changes the af, the inger, and makes it aleph. So you jump into the study and the days. When you come out on the other way, on the other side, you come out mamash, a brand new person. We'll close with the Rambam. The Rambam in the Laws of Teshuvah, in the second chapter, he brings the words from the Gemara. The Gemara says, what can someone do to change a bad decree? And one of the things the Gemara says is, change your name. Now some poskim, some mefashim, like the Ritva, I believe, holds, you change your name literally. If you have a bad decree, you feel like the Ain Haraz on you or whatever, change your name. The Rambam writes, when you do teshuvah, you say, I am not this guy who did this sin anymore. It says the Rambam in chapter 2 of Teshuvah, you can look it up. When you do teshuvah, you say, Oto ha'ish, this person who did this sin, I am not him anymore. A brand new person. I am a new name. That's why it says have a new name. You're a new person. The Rambam is literally saying what we're saying here. You have to believe it. Every time this season comes around, the holiday season, and Tishrei is also 960, you have the ability to come out of the other side of this mikveh that we're about to jump into, a brand new person. It doesn't matter what happened before. You could be a completely not kosher beriyah, creature, according to many poskim. The 960 has the power to, like the Mabul, to completely reset everything. Very, very powerful time and opportunity we have, especially what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. We don't want the af right now. We don't want mehori ha'af ha'gadol hazeh. What is this af? What is this anger? And thank God, it looks like it's turning around. Baruch Hashem. Maybe our tefillot are being answered. Yeah. And our enemies are falling. They should continue to. So we want to keep it this way. Yeah. What do? The lamed, we jump into the time, We jump into the Torah. The Lamed will make sure it's always Aleph, never Af. We should have a very, very inspiring Rosh Hashanah. Hopefully we see a lot of people in this shul Rosh Hashanah. Jump into the time, jump into the Selichot, jump into it. And you come out a brand new person, not the same person you were before you came in. If you come out from Yom Kippur, the same person that you went into, that's a failure. We have to come out a brand new person, a Beria Hadasha, complete after the 960. School